When it comes to OSU player stereotypes, there are many things that people like to fling around. So in this video, I just wanted to point out some of the more common stereotypes that I see flying around from other players, both from within the OSU community and outside of it as well. Starting with the most obvious one that everyone talks about, OSU tapping equals... Yeah. Okay, this one is very common, and it usually begins with people who don't know much about the game. Picture this. You're playing OSU in your room, and suddenly your friend walks in, and he's just amazed at how fast you can tap on your keyboard. Then, when you try to show off by playing a stream map, he suddenly goes, "Man, I bet your girlfriend must be so lucky." And I find it funny how everyone thinks of the same joke individually, but all these guys don't realize that we're OSU players. We don't do girlfriends. All we have is background images, plenty of PP, and milk teaism. OSU players have godlike aim. This is one of the more reasonable to assume if you're not into rhythm games because people just see you clicking circles really fast. So in their head, if you're so talented at the game that can give you literal seizures, then surely you have to be talented in aim games like Valorant or CSGO, or maybe even League of Legends. And well, that's reasonable to assume. The truth is, OSU players are good at rhythm. Just think about it for a second. OSU is a 2D game where you click the circles to the beat, where the majority of the top 200,000 players play with a drawing tablet instead of a mouse. Kiryu has even made an in-depth video regarding this topic. And finally, if we all had insane aim, I would already be shot into radium from the moment I touched the game, and not stuck in this dog shit eagle where everyone is throwing my game. OSU players have insane reaction speeds. This one is kind of a mixed bag. It's true that OSU players have good reaction speeds if you're reading AR11, the fastest circle approach rate in the game, but most importantly, it all comes down to two things: muscle memory and pattern processing. Think of it this way: OSU is a rhythm game, everyone knows that, but rhythms are actually just patterns. You have whole notes, half notes, third notes, fourth notes, and so on. And each of these notes can be correlated to circles in the game. Some of the more simple ones, for example, include whole notes, half notes, third notes, and fourth notes, represented like these. The best OSU players in the world have played the game for hundreds or even thousands of hours for years on end, and they've seen millions of circles and patterns, meaning that if they see a pattern that's familiar to them, such as this one for example, they already know the motions that they have to play in order to hit the circles without even thinking about it. So while yes, OSU players have some insane reaction speeds, it's not the entire story. Except if you're a kid from Australia who wears a magic carp hat. In that case, then you're good at everything. You should carry me in Valorant. You should subscribe to Lux because he's the best content creator in OSU. This one isn't really true, it just makes me happy. OSU players are all the same. They all play Valorant, they all play League of Legends, and use either Twitter or Reddit. They all either major in CS or major in IT, they dabble in at least one Hoyoverse games, and they're categorized as either femboys, racist, or p***os. You should follow Lux on Twitch because he will be streaming on the weekends to make content.
Oh, come on, guys.
Hard Rock players are Giga Chads and Double Time players are Bail Meta Cuck. This one is interesting because this one is most common with players who have already had a good understanding of the game. And I can see where they're coming from. Back in the age of dinosaurs, or I mean, around 2018, there was this guy who used to dominate as the #1 player by the name of Idki. And that's cool and all, but there was something unique about this guy, and it's that he achieved the #1 spot with Hard Rock, as opposed to all the previous #1 players who have achieved this with Double Time mostly. Hard Rock is a modification in the game that essentially cuts down the amount of health you have, makes the timing windows for each circle even harder, makes every circle smaller to hit, and also mirrors it all because why not? Compared to Double Time, where all it does is make the timing windows harder and also speeds up the song by 1.5. No, not double the speed, only 1.5. And with that, you might get a sense as to why people think Hard Rock players are more dominant and superior. But I am a Double Time player, so I only have one rebuttal to say to this. Tablets are better than mouse. And just as a bonus, alternating is better than single tapping. This one is probably one of the more long-lasting debates when it comes to OSU players, because everyone wants to justify why their playstyle is the best, and beginner players want to optimize their playstyle. And the general consensus for all new players is tablet is better than mouse, and alternating is the best way to tap in the game. The more experienced players know that although tablet is the most commonly played device because of its benefits, it all just comes down to preference. And I would say the same thing when it comes down to alternating versus single tapping. In all seriousness though, if you want to find out my honest thoughts on alternating versus single tapping, you should check out this video about me being a noob in OSU. Go ahead, click it.